Tell me what's going on. What's going on? I'm just getting there.
There we go. What's going on, people? Sorry, I had to unmute my mic. My bad. Lots of buttons over here I gotta press at the beginning of this Joker.
Did you forget to unmute yourself again?
Okay, well, yes, but last week was a technical thing. I don't know what that was all about. Mission failed first as always. What's poppin'? What's going on? Squash? How we doing today? My little brother showing up. So yes, the mustache is here and in all of its glory.
The mustache is here.
Take it in.
Man, that looks freshly shaven. Also.
Very,
Did
actually.
you just do that?
I did, yes, Friday night, and then I kind of got some scruff coming in, but you can't really see it on the camera.
Kind of got some scruff coming in right here. You can't really see it, but
no, you can't, because it's just like this is like
coming in.
1 day's worth of like scruff, so it's like prickly. It's like mad prickly. But Wolverine Blades, holy crap! How are you? Been a minute. Press all the buttons at the same time. Pro tip. Yeah, right.
Old Pastor Gary.
Pastor Gary's here. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not touching. I decided I'm not doing anything of the length until we go Christmas trees, and then I'll just be Christmas tree stash. All the
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be just super.
It's gonna be
great.
fantastic. Gonna be fantastic.
All right.
Almost as fantastic as monoliths popping up and around the world, huh?
Right?
What a
right.
lead in there.
What a lead. Just absolutely nailed it on that one. Yeah, dude. We got monoliths just popping up all over the place. And did you send me? Yeah, right here. Here it goes. Yeah, so there's monoliths popping up all over the place. I know you guys probably seen it. There was one in Utah, but it got taken down. A couple of dudes went and took it down. But then, like, shortly after that, another one popped up in Romania. So there's these giant silver monoliths that are just like popping up all over the place, and nobody really knows.
Literally, the first one that pops up is Utah monolith was apparently torn down by a group of dudes, not aliens.
Dudes. So aliens didn't take it down, but a couple of bros did take it down.
I'm trying to find that exact comment from them about like you shouldn't leave your personal property out in the middle of the desert if you don't want it to get taken or something.
Oh yeah, like so who just has
maybe don't take it down.
Yeah, just leave it. Maybe now you're pissing the aliens off.
You don't know that that's man-made, bro.
Now you're really it's probably Banksley, lol. Then in California, there was one in California as well. Dang.
One person remarking, "This is why you don't leave trash in the desert." I think that might have been the quote.
Oh yeah, but it's not trash. Like who just goes out to the middle of Utah and drops one giant hunk of metal?
In Romania, had a whole bunch of like loop-de-loop scribbling across the front of it.
Huh.
Like someone's either really fucking with us, like the whole world, obviously.
Yeah.
But who has the time or the energy?
Well, there's a lot of people. Like a lot of people are
living from Utah to Romania.
I don't know. Maybe Elon Musk is out there just messing with everybody.
I don't know.
But and then Wolverine Blade said there's one in California too.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe
California monolith pops up after finds in Utah, Romania. Yep.
Maybe this is the reason why, because the United States now has the Pentagon actually has a unidentified aerial phenomena task force, and this is their a leaked photo from them. So they were up here. They took a picture of this thing right here, and so it says it was taken from the pilot's cell phone in 2018. And this is 30,000 feet above the ocean. But it considers it an alien or non-human technology a possibility. Spaceman's here. What's up, Spaceman? And so this is kind of, I guess, as they blew it up, this is what it looked like. This is what it looks like. So maybe this thing's come back 2 years later in the end of 2020 and started dropping monoliths down. So
well, and apparently that the structure, the monolith appeared there somewhere between August 2015 and October 2016. So they've been there a while. At least this one
has been there a hot minute.
Huh. Yeah, I think this is the one in Romania. It's not like this one just got there.
So the one in Romania has been there for a while.
Yeah.
And then we just found the one in Utah.
Or they might be talking about the one in Utah. I don't know. It's tough. These are not the best well-written articles.
Thanks.
They're not. Well, this one's from the Daily Sun. Let's try this.
But anyway, so yeah, now we have confirmed another like little UFO looking thing. So maybe that thing is out there or was out there just dropping little monoliths around. Perhaps they're beacons or I don't know.
Yeah, the one in California is like right along the beach.
So
you can see the reflection of the beach.
At this point, it's either aliens or some dude has just got a lot of time on his hands and a shit ton of scrap metal.
I mean, what a 2020 thing to happen.
Right. X-Files TV show returns, right, Wolverine? Maybe it's just a big publicity stunt for the X-Files.
I feel like I'm living in Looney Tunes land sometimes.
It's ridiculous.
Like, if I'm on the Truman Show, I hate all of you guys and I will never be friends with you. Because it just feels like it can't get any weirder.
Candid camera pops out and...
I know.
That would explain a lot of things, actually. Yeah.
Only time I've ever experimented with acid. Not a good one. Well, it wasn't bad, but I had myself solidly convinced that I was on the Truman Show for like 20 minutes. Like, in my head, I was like, this is all being recorded. I know it.
Right.
Like, there's cameras around here. Thought I saw a red blinking light outside, and I was like, is that a camera? Like,
oh, no.
Dude.
What was that? I get a spaceman with the host.
Sometimes.
Thank you, spaceman. But why is my question? Who knows, spaceman? Who knows why?
I think everybody's question. Right? That's why it's so intriguing to talk about. Like, where the hell did it come from?
And why? But yeah, so
I want to know what it's made of. I want to know if they if they've like took it apart or like they've
cut it open or something. Yeah,
I was surprised that the state didn't take it.
Yeah, I figured that like the State Department or like the feds or somebody would have rolled out there real quick and just like pick that thing. I guess
it wouldn't surprise me if the one in California got picked up by like some government agency. Like, we're gonna look into this.
We're gonna take this over to
make sure this is safe.
What you guys think is gonna be Area 51, but we moved it.
Who's to say it's not a bomb? You don't know that. You don't know what's inside that thing. Imagine if those guys in Utah would have taken it down and just would have.
Jeez.
Don't mess with other people's stuff.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. That's weird.
They're out there,
and this is just going to be a blip. Like, this is people are going to be like, oh, well, these monoliths are here, and then like we're not going to hear anything else about it for who knows how long until another one pops up or something. I don't know.
Maybe coronavirus is just a big guise to distract us from aliens.
Oh, speaking of,
I just made that up. I don't really believe that's true.
What it's actually going to be is the launch pad and the launching point for the Great Reset. So instead of using climate change, which they kind of had been using for a little while, this is more of an accelerated thing that they can jump off of. So I'll start by actually reading what the Great Reset is from the World Economic Forum, who like this is like where it's coming from. This is and there's like multiple organizations and powerful world leaders behind this.
From the WEF, the World Economic Foundation.
The WEF, yeah. The World Economic Forum. All right, so the Great Reset, and this is what they're calling for. They're saying that there is an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of COVID-19 to improve the state of the world. The World Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset Initiative. So here is the context of it straight from their website, and then the opportunity that is also like that they're saying is being presented from all of this. So straight from the World Economic Forum website. The COVID-19 crisis and the political, economic, and social disruptions it has caused is fundamentally changing the traditional context for decision-making. The inconsistencies, inadequacies, and contradictions of multiple systems from health and financial to energy and education are more exposed than ever amidst a global context of concern for lives, livelihoods, and the planet. Leaders find themselves at a historic crossroads, managing short-term pressures against medium and long-term uncertainties. So that's the context of what they're wanting to do with the Great Reset. Now, the opportunity. As we enter a unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery, this initiative will offer insights to help inform all those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economies, the priorities of societies, the nature of business models, and the management of a global commons. Scary. Drawing from the vision and vast expertise of leaders engaged across the forum's communities, the Great Reset Initiative has a set of dimensions to build a new social contract that honors the dignity of every human being. Okay? So that's their context and their opportunity that they're seeing with this, right? This is being spearheaded by, let me back up real fast, the World Economic Forum and the Prince of Wales was actually the two people that are like, there are the two big things that are
Prince of Wales?
yeah, that are like spearheading this and calling for it.
Who the hell is the Prince of Wales?
I think it's
Googling
Prince
it
Charles. Is it Prince Charles? I think it's Prince Charles. Soon to be King Charles, I think.
This is just on the general Prince of Wales.
All right. And well, this says current dialogues are a joint initiative of the World Economic Forum and HRH, the Prince of Wales. I don't know
Prince
what that
William.
means. Prince William.
Born.
Let's look up. What's
21st of June in 1982.
No, I don't think that's right. HRH.
I think that's.
I don't know if that's right. Let me click on this.
The only thing about
HRH, Prince of Wales, eldest son of
he
the
has
Queen.
two sons.
Prince Philip. It's Prince Philip.
Prince Philip.
Not Charles. It's Prince Philip, who's soon to be King Philip because the Queen is about to. I think His Royal Highness. Yeah, His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales. Yeah, so.
King of England. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it should be. Wait, what the hell? Is it Philip? Duke of Edinburgh was born. Hold on. Oh, that's old. It's Charles. I was right. It is Charles. God dang it.
Not William.
Not William. Not Philip. It's Charles.
Charles.
Chat has me
Very
right
important.
here. Yes, Charles.
Very important.
Okay, so it's friggin' Prince Charles and the World Economic Forum. So that's what it's doing. Saw a YouTube video on the Rona being a cover for the reset, slowing down the economies, causing the various nations and economies are crashing anyway. Right, Wolverine, which we kind of talked about a little bit last week, and I think we'll get into it more here in a minute. And yes, Spaceman, it's going to be a reset button to
economically.
It's going to be economically, socially.
Yeah, like your social contract.
Your economic status, your social status. It's going to affect education as well. And because I watched a video from the Kaiser Report on YouTube. If you guys haven't watched the Kaiser Report, it's a good source. I knew I was initially right squash with Prince Charles, and then the internet had me messed up. So yes, it's Prince Charles.
I didn't even really know I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yes.
Shows you how
right. So
savvy I am.
And then there's
globally.
another website called thegreatreset.com. And that is,
I was on that one earlier today.
Yeah, so this is saying this they're touting, this, I think this also is like in league with it. It's all the same. But they're saying that we need to do a reset because of global warming, and the fact that everybody's been in lockdown for the majority of the year, that global emissions are down 7%, which like cool, but they want the reset to like they're wording this in their website so that it's a good thing, but if you like really get into it and read it,
there's like a 1:15 long video if you want to play that on the front page.
Yeah, I would, but I mean, I can just trim it out for YouTube, I guess. YouTube doesn't like it when we use copyrighted content like that.
Oh, well then we don't have to play it.
But if you guys go on to the Great Reset, it's not even the Great Reset, it's just greatreset.com. There's a video, and it'll like it kind of goes into stuff. But they're so this says Great Reset, and then it's a question mark. So this is going to explain from this side what it is. The Great Reset is a creative industry movement to embed the positive environmental shifts that have happened during lockdown as the new normal. The industry has power and influence, but we need lots of people to choose to use it. We must grab this opportunity to help shape society that puts mankind and our planet's needs first. To do this, we must reset ourselves, become agents of change, not passive receivers of briefs, reset our work so that it creates and promotes more sustainable values, attitudes, and behaviors, and reset our impact by reevaluating what we measure and celebrate as success.
I like how their website is like so indie.
Yeah.
Like this is good, man.
And
I'm
then,
not saying I don't know.
they have
We'll get
they have
into
what's
it.
called like a white paper that you can read. It's 20
Mm-hmm.
minutes. I actually didn't get into it because I didn't want to download it. Um, and then this one's just talking about there's a bunch of other crap on this, but basically what they want to do is they're touting it and rebranding it as like fixing capitalism, but it's gonna fix capitalism to look more like communism, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this article. This is called. It's the title is "The Great," and then in parentheses says "Dystopian Reset." Now this one you have to take with a grain of salt because this one is kind of out there in a few points. But yeah. But before I get into that, Spaceman asks, "Where's the Bible, Quran, or Torah?" And then Wolverine come back with Revelation in the Bible, and also Daniel setting up a one world government. Yes, and that is when my dad cued me into this, and we started talking about this on our family podcast. That's my first thought that I had. Wolverine is that they want to set up this one world thing, and I was like, "Holy crap, that sounds like dangerously close and similar to Revelation." So if any of you are Bible people or have read like the Bible or remember from church or Sunday school, this
They
is very similar to that.
this isn't really a new concept either. People have talked about this for a long
Yeah, they talked
time.
about it for a long time, but this is now
Conspiracy
it's
theorists, I remember watching a conspiracy video like 10 years ago on 9/11, and it was a part of it tied into how they're setting us up for a one world government.
mm-hmm.
And 10 years ago I was like, that would never happen.
And now
And
here
now
we
it's
are.
like people are really pushing for it, which is kind of scary.
Right. So this article is from WND. It says it's a free press for free people. This one take with a grain of salt because there's some stuff in here that I was like, um, um,
I
so
downloaded the papers.
oh, did you?
I'm gonna go through them later, but I just wanted to see who
Yeah.
it was written by.
So we can we'll probably use those to get into some more stuff later on, maybe in the next episode or something. But
Yeah.
so like the World Economic Forum said, there's an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate. Jesus, yada yada yada. So then this article goes on to say like, hold on a minute, like improve the state of the world by whose criteria, right? So that's a big question.
Yeah,
So whose
exactly.
criteria are they wanting to improve the world by? And we look at this and we go, well, this is being touted by world governments, big business corporations, and people of that ilk. So basically, the global elite, if you want to put it that way, the global elite are pushing this, and so they're going to want to reshape the world, and it's going to be by their criteria, and the common man, the rest of us, aren't really going to get a say in how they improve it, and we're just going to have to, if this goes, we're just going to have to sit there and just take it basically. So
I'm looking at the lead, well, not the lead author, but the first author listed, and she's a political economist specializing in the practical applications of complexity theories,
what the heck? So you went to school for
systematic
no reason.
change, urbanization, and social entrepreneurship. Yeah, it's very progressive. Well, it's anti-capitalism.
Right. Yeah, but they're gonna tout it as a reformation of capitalism. So Klaus Schwab is the founder and the executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, and he wrote a piece entitled "Now is the Time for a Great Reset," which he elaborates: to achieve a better outcome, the world must act jointly and swiftly to revamp all aspects of our societies and economies, from education to social contracts and working conditions. Every country from the United States to China must participate, and every industry from oil and gas to tech must be transformed. In short, we need a great reset of capitalism.
No
And
thanks.
Schwab also famously said, "You'll own nothing," and, quote, "you'll be happy about it."
No,
So,
thank
no
you.
thank you. Um,
That sounds
that
horrible.
sounds like the worst thing ever.
Oh, so
Um,
you'll just take all my money, but I'll still be happy? Okay, that's fine.
right.
Here's my
Um,
house. When take the keys. Where do I go now?
so yeah, so they want to they're wanting to do the reset on this because the world as a whole, its debt is astronomical,
Yeah,
and they just want to they want to hit the reset on that and just basically like wipe all that out, start over, and they want to kind of get they're not kind of, but they want to get rid of the banking industry as a whole and just move to a one world bank, and that's where all the money and stuff is going to flow through, but it's not going to be actual money anymore. They're pushing for like a basically cryptocurrency,
crypto. Yep.
um and you're going to do your transactions that way. um and once that gets started, they're also talking about, they've said education, and in the Kaiser report, I don't remember exactly what the name was that they branded the education that'll come from this. So it's gonna move from away from like traditional education, how education has been around the world, to a more like, oh,
A concentration camp.
kind of, not really. It's like the kids are gonna go to school and they're gonna get taught. It's gonna be, I guess, more akin to like trade school stuff rather than
Yeah.
broader education stuff. And it's basically going to be a re-educating of people now and kids coming up to not think of like capitalist mindsets or think like that, but think more like communally, like as a whole, for like the betterment of the world, yada yada yada.
It's it sounds like you're telling people how to think, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
yeah,
makes me nervous about all of it. You're
right,
like telling me what I have to do versus me just having the freedom to do whatever, I mean, within the law construct, but basically whatever I want to do. Start a
right.
business.
And
Don't start
so
a business.
the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, this will make all you Canadians in the chat happy,
Oh,
while addressing United Nations in a video conference, stated that this is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change. So then this article goes on to say, in the spirit of never letting a crisis go to waste, COVID has offered the perfect opportunity to destroy the world economy and usher in some of the most ridiculous, draconian, and unsustainable social agendas to ever exist. Communism is never sustainable ever, right? Okay, so like we
well
said,
said.
there's a lot of world political leaders that are really pushing for this, and communism is never sustainable. But for some, I think that somehow, if this goes through and everything, like, I really hope it doesn't. And I hope there's enough people that are kind of like, no. But this goes through and basically global communism happens. It's going to be pretty friggin' difficult for the entire world to shake communism. It's going to go to like, it's going to be like all those dystopian movies that you remember like in the 80s that came out that were like, the world is like basically in a draconian dystopian thing, and there's like a little rebel cell, but for the most part the world just ho-hums along, and does their thing. Sometimes the good guys win, sometimes they get squashed. A good example of this is V for Vendetta was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It's in that vein. It's really good. So it's things like that. Like, you try and rise up, but there's basically like a world Gestapo. Like, you got to fight tooth and nail from the bottom, and this article says it's unsustainable. But if it happens on a global level like that, I think the elite and the people that profit the most from this will find a way to keep it sustainable.
Well, and I don't think that the United States would ever adapt those measures. The problem is if we're with the debt we're in,
So the next part of this
we
article.
would have the power to be somewhat cut off.
So
I
then,
haven't read anything on that. I was just thinking out loud.
right. So the next part of that goes into this. With American progressives determined to get Biden Harris into office by whatever nefarious means possible. So clearly, this article is not a fan
Uh,
of them.
yeah.
The far
I was
left.
going to say, it sounds like a very right wing.
It's a very right wing article, and that's
page,
why I
but-
said take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
For all of this, but they said the far left agenda will rapidly be pushed on all citizens, including the Green New Deal. Equality of outcome is the goal, as Kamala Harris has assured us, not equality of opportunity. James Dellingpole observed on Breitbart, the Green Agenda is the Great Reset. And he said, quote, "What you need to understand is that the supposed climate crisis we've been hearing about ad nauseum since at least the 92 Rio Air Summit was really just a pretext for the kind of globalist takeover now being conducted by our governments in lockstep with the World Economic Forum's Great Reset and the United Nations Parallel Agenda 2030, an update of its notorious Agenda 21. So I think that guy was kind of like poo-pooing climate crisis.
I was just going to say, I think most educated people would have the opinion that the climate is definitely changing.
Yeah, the climate is changing.
And it does have to do with our pollutions.
For sure.
Now, I don't want to go on a global warming rant or climate change, whatever you're supposed to call it now. That said, we're not the biggest contributor. China needs to get their shit under control.
Right.
Like, we would put such a fractional dent into the actual global pollutions if the United States just cut all their pollutions right now, tomorrow. But that said, the Green New Deal also was laughed at by both Democrats and Republicans. Like when Ocasio-Cortez put that out, there were Democrats that were like, yeah, come on, like you need to do better here.
Right.
So I don't think the Green New Deal is coming.
Right.
I don't think Biden and Harris are going to put that through.
And then this is the rest of this article kind of gets into. There's some stuff that you really got to take with a grain of salt. They were saying that this is why Trump was hated by the deep state, and he's not one of them. He's like us. He's blah blah blah. So some of that mess is like not. I don't. That's pretty much where I'll stop on that article because it gets
Poison says that she hates Trudeau. And
most Canadians do.
I love
I think
the fact that she hates Trudeau.
I think most Canadians hate Trudeau. Like
he's like the Beto O'Rourke of Canada.
Yeah.
It's like if Beto O'Rourke was a president. Like,
right.
Would you just shut up already? Just stop.
Would you just shut up, man?
Phony.
So let's. I'm gonna catch up with chat real fast now that we kind of got at least a little bit into what the Great Reset is.
Well, global emissions is a big part of it. I was reading that on the website. Which again, I think there's room for the world to be cleaner. We could do better.
No, we can. Yeah, we can for sure, but we don't have to. We don't have to like reset everything and make every country like a one world like government.
No, exactly.
Climate changes every year, called the Four Seasons. Wolverine. I never bought into climate change army. They're just looking for reasons to control the populace. I mean, yes and no on that one, Wolverine. I think that there's been enough scientific evidence to back the fact that we are heating the world up. But at the same time, the powers that be will use whatever fake scientific evidence. This isn't a podcast about global warming. Talk about that later. But I feel like that the powers that be will use crises, or if you want, quote, perceived crises, to try and control the masses. If you like that.
I'm looking at the doomsday clock right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was January 23rd.
All right.
Back on January 23rd, the doomsday clock moved into 100 seconds to midnight.
Mm,
Not that I buy into the doomsday clock. I just
right.
think it's fun.
Oh my god, what is this article? Why is it so tiny?
So we got monoliths, leaked pictures of UFOs. Doomsday clock has us
Right.
within 100 seconds to midnight, and we're looking at a great reset. Things are fine.
Things are fine.
Things are good. It's like the picture of that dog sitting with his tie with everything on fire
Right.
around him. This is fine.
All right.
Hey, your home state was out opposing protesting the lockdown again.
Was that
Not
Arkansas?
home state, New Jersey.
Oh yeah. Well, the
Your
New
home
Jersey
state meaning the place
propaganda,
you live.
just like the U.S. election results. Oh jeez. We'll get to your topic in a minute. Combo
What
slash
is
mission
the
failed.
topic? Just so
We just put it out
I'm
there, and then
curious.
we're yeah, there you go. So my brother's in the chat, Squash Fay, and he will be more than happy to talk to you about climate change, global warming. For anyone that doesn't think he's that kid. I say kid, but because he's younger than me. He is well versed in all things scientific and has a good head on his shoulders. So he will definitely converse with you on that.
Yeah,
If you would
I
be,
think it's definitely happening.
yeah,
Does it get used politically more than it should? Absolutely. Does
right.
everything get used politically more than it should? Absolutely.
Right. So okay, this looks interesting. So this is from the SGT report. They say while the current pandemic is being used as a justification for the movement, the agenda has nothing to do with health and everything to do with the long-term plan to monitor and control the world through technical surveillance. In other words, the world will be reset to depend on digital technocracy run by self-appointed elitists. It's a power grab, and what is in the past referred to as the New World Order, now known as the Great Reset. And they want to say that they're gonna tie you to it through an electronic ID that's linked to your bank account, health records, and even gives you a social credit that can run every facet of your life. So that's from people, I guess, who really dug into it a lot more than we have so far. But yeah, so kind of like what we said a little bit last week is this thing is basically going to be used to just put everything in one like a one world deal, one world currency, one world education, um, one world rules for how everything is supposed to run and stuff like that. And it's a scary concept. Um, and it has very big similarities. And I've said this at a bunch, and you guys are probably tired of hearing it. And I know it popped up in the chat as well, but it's getting to the point where it's like George Orwell's like 1984 book. Um, things they want to try and set things up. Like what happened to that book. For those of you that read it, know what I'm talking about. If you haven't read it, go read it. It's a good read. And I also, I guess, V for Vendetta. So if you want to read 1984, you can watch V for Vendetta and get kind of a decent idea about what's going
There's a
on.
movie for for Vendetta also.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That movie.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean it was
it's
a
a book
book.
also, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically people on the far right think that this is conspiracy for the global elite using COVID-19 as an opportunity to roll out radical policies.
Right.
Which, I don't know, just let's make things better, but we don't have to start all over.
Right.
Like,
Like we're getting
don't
to
have to wipe it clean.
yeah, and part of the wiping it clean is like we've kicked the can of debt down the street as far as we can.
That's the thing about the economic side of it.
Yeah.
I think something being done economically that would be like a quote unquote great reset. Like, I'm not an economist, I don't know, but something like that to level the playing field with debt, I think that could be a good idea. But
I don't know.
It's not
For
like,
me,
don't rewrite my social contract.
yeah.
Like, that's
For
not.
I don't know how I look at it is this time, when the economy goes tits up, let it go tits up.
Mm-hmm.
And let it reset itself that way. Like just let it crash, and this time don't bail anybody out.
Yeah.
So when private companies come to the government needs to look at them and go, no, you're a private company. If you weren't smart enough to have a rainy day fund or an economic crisis fund so you could keep your business going, then too bad. We don't like the government honestly doesn't have money to hand out
Yeah.
anyway, and where that money comes from is the taxpayer. So the taxpayers basically pay for these private companies to keep going when those
Exactly.
bailouts happen. So what needs to
Yep.
happen this time is don't bail them out. If Ford, Chrysler, the banks, some of the banking industry, if that
How do
crashes,
how do banks run out of money? I don't
it's
like.
because they're focused on business,
I yeah.
and not it's. Yeah, people forget that a bank is not just a place to store your money. They're there to
Yeah.
sell products and services as well.
Exactly.
So
Did I
like
ask you this already? Did you watch the movie The Big Short?
you have, and I have not yet.
I'm
I
telling you,
need
it's
to
a
take
good
some
one.
time this upcoming week and watch it. But yeah, like whatever big corporation comes to the government and goes, please, can I have some money? The government this time needs to go, no, let it fail, and they'll start over
Mm-hmm.
and go that way. Just let if you want to say a great reset, let that be the great reset
Yeah.
economically. Just let it crash. And I know, yes, it's going to hurt a lot of people. A lot of people are going to suffer, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's because those people weren't smart with their money either. And a lot of this has come as I was reading up on it. A lot of this has come that the world has been financing itself privately and in business and government with debt. We've
Yeah.
basically just bought everything with debt and pushed 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 to get it
Just
as
for more money.
far away as possible, and we just never repaid on it.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that my dad's been harping on me about, I wouldn't say harping. That's not fair to him, but has been trying to let me know is before the economy crashes, which it's coming. It might be sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of all of your as much personal debt as you can.
Yeah.
Ideally, get rid of all of it before the economy crashes.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you're not going to get sucked down with it, and from that point, you don't owe anybody anything, and all the money you have coming in can be used to sustain yourself and your family
Well,
and your
that's
life.
basically what happened in 2007, 2008. People they were house poor. You
Right,
know,
right.
they were had way too many payments. Making a lot of money but living paycheck to paycheck, and then
Well, the
when
thing is,
everything crashed, it was like, oh shit, we can't afford this anymore.
they stopped living within their means. So what
Yeah.
they did is they looked and they said, oh, we could afford this much of a payment a month on a really expensive house,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just got into debt in the house, and then and it was with interest rates because interest rates played a factor into that. They were like super low, and people just went that route. But they were like, okay, so
Yep.
we're saving all of this money because interest is super low, and we can afford this monthly payment on this house. So we have this extra money that we can use, and we'll buy brand new cars
Yep.
or buy a bunch of like appliances and TVs and shit that we don't need
Mm-hmm.
because we have this extra money. But instead of saving that extra money or snowballing that extra cash into your mortgage payment so you can pay it off faster, they spent it frivolously.
Well, in The Big Short, they pretty much break that down. Like, they're showing up to houses, like these beautiful houses in the middle of like these really nice neighborhoods, and like nobody's living there.
Right.
Because at first they're like, there's no way we can short the housing market. Like, the housing market's always stable. Like, that would be the stupidest idea ever. And then a lot of, or not a lot of people, a few people got very rich shorting the housing market, and they started to realize, like, they're like talking to strippers and stuff, and they're talking to one who has like one $275,000 house and another like $500,000 house out in California, and she makes like 40 grand a year. And they're like, wait a minute, how did this happen?
Right.
How did you get a mortgage for two houses, much less one? And that's what happens. People want to get rich.
Right.
Don't bail them out. actually send them to jail maybe when they like break the law
Yeah,
and
yeah.
give mortgages to people by like falsifying documents.
Right, and that was another thing I wanted to talk about, which I think I mentioned last week, is that when those bailouts came to those companies, they didn't do what they were supposed to with them, obviously,
Yeah.
because people are greedy and they like money. Those
Hmm.
those bailouts went to the corporate CEOs and the people high up. They were like sick extra money, and it didn't trickle down and help the economy like it was supposed to.
Oh,
So
yeah. But let's not do a great reset.
yeah, that's
I'm not
not.
so.
I'm not
I
about
mean,
it
in
because
this
like
form
yeah,
on this
not
website.
in how they're wanting the reset to happen, because they're wanting to essentially turn the world into a giant, like everybody works for each other basically, and that's not gonna like
It's
the
a
only way
utopian
to make
society.
that work is to literally like enforce it with police and
Yeah,
that kind of stuff,
exactly.
like because other than that, like it won't work, because and it's been proven time and time again that
You're getting
humans are
into
too
like,
selfish to want to work for each other. They want to just worry about themselves and their little sphere.
yeah,
So by the way this reset is I'm envisioning, I guess, is gonna have to work is they're gonna have to like forcibly enforce it, um, to get it to keep going. They're just basically just gonna beat people into submission with it,
it's
and then after the beatings happen, like it's just gonna be a re-education thing and a new education thing for the generations that come behind. If their plan for education, goes the way they want it to go.
very similar to what old Orwell was talking about a long time ago.
Right.
Pretty weird.
And everybody's gonna start like that happen. All this happens. People are gonna start tuning into the news at the same time. But I mean, they do that now anyway. But at least you have various news sources. Now it's just gonna be like a one world news source, and whatever they say goes.
I
And
love the conspiracy theory that the aliens are closer to us than ever now because they like know we're about to collapse ourselves.
right,
They're like, all right, we're gonna have to step in, aren't we? It's like watching two ants on a hill fight against each other, and it's like, all right, do we eventually step in and move these ants, like help them out a little bit? Like, it's clearly going pretty terrible down there,
right,
so maybe we should slide on in and make sure they don't topple themselves, because we kind of like those little farm animals down there.
right.
They're fun to
They're
watch.
fun to play with.
We're like a zoo.
Right. Spaceman says that you forget about the 0.01% of the population who are selfless and genuinely care. It's a small fraction, but still, right. And
It's there,
it's there, sure, it's there,
but
Spaceman. But those are going to be
that's
some
why
of
it
the.
can't work.
That's why it can't work, because that
Yeah.
percentage is too small to do anything. It's going to be that percentage is going to be like the percentage of people in those movies, those dystopian movies, that they're the rebellion and they rise
Hmm.
up. But it's going to be one of those movies where the rebellion gets smushed, and the movie
Yeah.
doesn't have a happy ending.
It's like somewhat Hunger Games ish,
Yeah.
obviously without the competition sending one person from your little colony to die or kill everybody else. But it's very Hunger Games like,
Yeah.
very Maze Runner
Mm-hmm.
kind of feel to it also, without the kids doing the maze.
Mm.
But it's not comforting.
No,
It's definitely
not
not comforting.
not in the slightest at all.
Yeah.
There's some more stuff I wanted to.
Why it can't work is because it's the same theory as to why the bailouts didn't work for the major companies. It's because people are greedy. People are selfish. There is the 0.01% out there, but it's not near dominating enough to squash the right people that could really use it for their own advantage. The wrong people, I should say. If you got a lot of money,
Right.
buy Bitcoin. Just be safe.
Or
I was
don't buy
just looking at,
Bitcoin, because that might be the world's one currency when all this comes to.
might need a little bit around. We're not gonna have a huge say in it probably. So
True. What's this news? Oh yeah, I don't care. Yeah, so there's that. Actually, the World Economic Forum on their website doesn't really have. They really have all that much. Um. On it, like they didn't really go into like super great detail. I have all these other articles on there by like all these different people, like how to make your business thrive and do good. Game changer, talking about vaccines, ways to fight corruption and restore trust in leadership. Okay. Um, Actually,
Reading.
speaking of that, and I don't know, you have to remind me, Alex, if we talked about this on the last one. Um, but kind of tied into how they want to enforce that, how they would enforce things if this Great Reset came to pass and everybody was on board for it. The lockdowns are kind of right now kind of a look into, I guess, how it would be, because some countries have taken it into great effect. So, for example, in Australia, they went into lockdown to stop, the spread of coronavirus, and many of the states in Australia just used the military and their police forces to enforce lockdown. So that's why I mentioned one time when that 12-year-old kid broke curfew and went to go play at the park, they just bundled him into the car and arrested him. Right.
Yep.
There was one.
Get in the wagon, boy.
There was one state, the state of Victoria in Australia, that didn't use the military or police. The premier, it's the same as the governor of that state, decided to pay a contracting service to do it and enforce lockdown. So while the rest of the country was not seeing a spike in numbers or anything, because everybody was basically martial lawed into staying in lockdown.
Let me make sure I understand this right. They contracted out a company?
Yeah, they contracted out like
a
company to enforce lockdown.
Like a Signal 88? I don't know if you know what that is here. It's like a security company.
Yeah, basically like they contracted out a security force like Blackwell, or as I remember that from a video game. I can't remember. It's a black something that's out there. Anyway, not important. So the rest of the country, rest of Australia, didn't see a spike in numbers because they had the police and the military enforcing lockdown. Victoria saw a huge spike in numbers because the people that were contracted out started accepting bribes and sexual favors and all this other stuff.
Oh, sexual
favors. So that people could like go shopping or do like not be locked down anymore. So that state aside,
there's a lot of jokes in there.
Yeah, there's many jokes, and we're gonna leave those alone for now. But the rest of the country was basically under martial law, so that the spread of COVID would stop. And I think that is how that model would be taken into a greater effect in the Great Reset to keep it going. And if things went south and there would obviously be backlash against it. People with half a brain would be like, no, I don't want this to happen. But
I was watching the last Maze Runner movie the other day. It just happened to be on TV, and it's like signs flashing everywhere, curfew at 9, mask mandate, and then like 9 o'clock the cops start coming around and like picking up people if you're out past then.
Right.
I was like, it was actually during the protests when I saw it, and I was like, oof, this feels way too weird. Like, if I'd have been watching this movie 10 years ago, I'd be like, that's nothing like that would ever happen. But
no, it's too eerily strange. Yeah, and like what happened, you saw it too. There was a lady in Australia that got arrested. We talked about this too, for putting a post on Facebook that was like, anti-lockdown basically, and they came and arrested her for inciting, stuff against, saying bad things against the government. So there's your first.
Can't do that.
There's your first sign. Is like they'll
Later,
tell you.
Spaceman.
They'll tell you what
Spaceman.
Oh, you gotta go read the Quran soon.
The Quran.
All right, Spaceman. Enjoy your reading.
Have Quran reading.
Have a good night. So they arrested her and confiscated all of her electronics in the house because she was, protesting or saying things against the government. And they did, in London, in England, they've had protests as well, anti-lockdown protests, because, they're over it. And they don't want to be policed and anything like that. And, like we said before, they bungled quite unceremoniously and a 70-year-old woman into the back of a police wagon in front of a member of parliament because she was out front protesting the lockdown and that kind of stuff. It's crazy. And France, this even guys, it ties into found out the other day. Squash, you'll have to help help me remember what we talked about on that other podcast with France. But they're doing some stuff right now that the French people are like, absolutely not. And I think they're like giving the police power to, oh God, what is it? Um, mm,
Well, there's I was just seeing that pictures of that protest in London, and there were signs saying I forget what it was, like
oh, there it is.
no
Filming
great
police.
reset, fight for our freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, London's like no, but
London's not having it,
apparently
and Paris. There's riots in Paris as well because the French have introduced a bill. It's called a security law, but has made the filming of police in France illegal.
oh come on.
So now you like the the French government is trying to tell their people that you can't film the police, and it's basically going to give the police more freedom to do whatever they want because they have no they have no accountability because the public can't
Hey,
keep them accountable
it will
anymore.
help us keep you safer if you don't film us doing it.
If
Okay.
you don't
As
film
long as
us
you don't film us, it will help us keep you safer.
if you don't
Sound good?
if you don't film us beating people for no reason, it'll keep you safe.
It's ridiculous.
And
That's
I
crazy.
guess I don't.
Well, yeah, I'm sure London is feeling the pressure of the Great Reset,
Yeah.
having the Prince of Wales being the one to come out with the World Economic Forum and publish these papers.
Right.
Like, no,
So yeah,
if
this
that was the
is.
president, we'd all be like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?
What are you doing there, bud?
Not, we're not really on board with this. Can you come back home and can we talk about this?"
Right. So it's saying, the current version of the bill which they passed, or the article, is it's a proposed law that criminalizes the publishing of images of police officers with the intent of harming their physical or psychological integrity. So, I mean, they're gonna propagate this and push this out as like, whoa, you can't post malicious content against police officers that would make them look bad. Or get them
Yeah.
hurt or hurt their psyche. And it's like, well, if the cop is out there beating the shit out of somebody and he's not supposed to, then he has the public has a right to make sure that that gets out there. And yes, it might
Yeah.
hurt him physically and it might damage him psychologically, but that's because he's in the wrong. So they're saying it like
what'll
that.
keep you safe. You know what'll keep you safe psychologically? Not beating the shit out of somebody because of the color of their skin or when they didn't do anything.
Right. And so
just 'cause
they're
you like being a big man.
they voted on it in their national assembly, and it's expected to be debated in the French Senate early next year. So it's not a for sure thing yet, but the government over there has said that the measure is needed to better protect police officers from online calls from violence, like blah blah blah. So and like chat's saying right now, so that gets somebody posts that gets put out there, and then you can go, any officer can make the claim that they are being harmed mentally from whatever gets posted. So they're just gonna be, oh, this harms me mentally,
Oh,
blah
yeah,
blah
of
blah, and then
course.
so it's a slippery slope. But like all that still kind of sort of ties into this like idea of a great reset. It's taking individual liberties and rights away from individual people, and pushing for more governmental control of the populace. And we're gonna do some more. I'm gonna do some more research again this week. I might get into reading some of more of that official. What do you want to call it?
Apparently, John Kerry
I did see that
said,
John Kerry's big
and
proponent.
yes, the Great Reset will happen, and I think it will happen with a greater speed and with a greater intensity than a lot of people might imagine. In effect, the citizens of the United States have just done a great reset. We've done a great reset, and it wasn't a record level of voting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's out there.
It's out
It's
there.
an
So,
idea.
yeah, I'm gonna do some.
Apparently, John Kerry thinks Biden is very devoted to the radical Great Reset movement.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm gonna do. We'll
This
do
is
some
on.
more research on it this coming week and get into like some, I guess, of their official paperwork. and see what they actually have to say and kind of.
I downloaded the papers, so I'll read through them.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'll have
read
some
through
time this week.
and really talk about it
But
some more. But
everything
yeah,
I've heard so far, I don't love.
no, none of it sounds good. I don't like it,
No.
like really at all. Nobody should, and especially if you're in the banking industry or have ties to the banking industry, this should worry you because if the One World Bank or whatever happens, like you're not gonna have a job,
Yeah.
and that bank is gonna be controlled by the government, and you're gonna go from there. And for those of you that again are biblically inclined, it all has large and similarities to the Book of Revelation. So if you're curious, go read through that book and see what what that's all about. And then as we talk about this, you'll kind of see the similarities because that was my first thought when I heard about all this, and I can get into that later in another episode perhaps if you guys would enjoy that. But Mission Failed has been pushing for his topic, and he's saying Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul is confirmed. My thoughts on that are I hope Floyd knocks Logan Paul the F out.
I was just gonna say it's gonna be so fun watching him.
Wait,
just get destroyed.
Logan Paul or Jake Paul? Or so we're
Logan Paul,
confirmed.
the one
Logan
who
Paul?
just knocked out Nate.
No,
Nate
that was
Robinson.
Jake Paul that just knocked out Nate Robinson.
Oh well, it's
So
Jake
the other
Paul.
brother.
Yeah, the other brother, the one that just knocked out Nate Robinson.
No, chat's saying that it's Logan. Like Jake's not gonna fight Mayweather. It's his brother Logan's gonna fight Mayweather.
Really?
Yeah. Either way, I don't care which Paul brother is fighting Floyd. I hope Floyd knocks him the F out.
Oh, he will. He's going to. Yeah,
So-
it is Logan Paul.
Huh. So that's
He fought
didn't-
British YouTube star.
Yeah, KSI.
Yeah,
Yeah, fuck KSI. Anyway, whatever.
yeah. He's gonna knock him out. I can't wait.
Well, whenever that happens, we'll
It's gonna be
talk about that.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So a little bit of housekeeping here at the end. Newest YouTube video. Last week's episode has been up for a few days, so that's up. And then that episode and episode 16 are actually up on. Well, episode 16's been up on YouTube, but 16 and 17 are up on your podcast streaming sites. So Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, whatever other podcast website you use. It is up there as well. And I should say, help us out. Give the YouTube video a like, give it a share, maybe. Subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. Leave a comment. I do check the YouTube channel for the comments and stuff. And if you have topics that you want us to cover, you can leave those in the comments on a YouTube video. The best way, more than likely though, will be to get a hold of Alex or myself on our social media, which those handles will be.
We got a spammer in the comment section.
Oh, sick, bro! Get out of here, bot.
Do you want to become famous?
No,
you
I
can
don't.
buy followers.
I want you to get out of my chat. See ya.
Later.
Later,
bot.
So yeah, get that out of there. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. Help us get this out so people can hear what we got to say.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Go ahead and smash that like button.
If you guys want good luck for the rest of 2020, smash that like button now.
I'm gonna need you to go ahead and smash that like button for me.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, help get the word out there to everybody. If people, even if you don't think they'll like it, screw it. Just tell them anyway. And
like it. I mean, what's not to like?
a couple of dudes just chilling.
Just a couple of likable guys hanging out, talking about aliens and such.
Yep. And then, but yeah, like I was saying, our social media handles will be up on the end screen. So if you guys need to and haven't yet, give us a follow on those. And if you have topics that you come across during the week or at any point really that you think that would be interesting for our podcast that you would like us to cover, go ahead and let us know. But I think that's going to be it for for this episode.
Let's hope for more monoliths this week.
I'm hoping for more monoliths. Give some more to talk about, and
maybe I'll see an alien. That'd be cool.
And
Guy can dream.
Guy can dream. So we'll probably dive into some more of the Great Reset a little bit again next week after we delve into their propaganda.
I have a feeling this will be an ongoing topic,
and it'll probably be like, you know, what we did with Pizzagate for a little while.
Yeah,
it'll pop up in our episodes.
Something to follow.
But yep. So we'll see what this next week brings. But until next time, be kind to each other. Educate yourselves. Tell somebody you love them. I love all of you. And thank you for your support.
Love you guys.
See you guys.
Buy some Bitcoin.
See y'all in the next one.